Γεια σας και καλώς ήρθατε στο Euronews. Από την πρώτη μέρα κιόλας της ρωσικής εισβολής στην Ουκρανία ήταν εμφανής και αναμενόμενη η υποστήριξη της Λευκορωσίας στις κινήσεις Πούτιν. 2 χρόνια μετά ήταν πολλές οι φορές που είδαμε την έμπρακτη υποστήριξη του καθεστώτος Λουκασένκο στις ενέργειες της Μόσχας. Μαζί μας είναι σήμερα η Σβιατλάνα Τσιχανόφσκαγια, που είναι ηγέτης της αντιπολίτευσης στη Λευκορωσία και μία από τις βασικές αντιπάλους του Λουκασένκο για να συζητήσουμε όλα αυτά. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Euronews. Welcome to the Delphi Economic Forum. You left your country for Lithuania after the elections of 2020, obviously because you thought it wasn't possible for you to remain in your country anymore. You have said that you're fighting for the freedom of Belarus, and you have said that the freedom of Belarus is also a fight for Europe and for European values. Which is the future you're fighting for Belarus?
Our country has historically belonged to Europe, and in the last 200 years it was under influence of Russia, Russian Empire, then Russian Federation. But we want our country to be returned to European family of countries because our people really cherish the values, freedoms that Europe, the democratic world, is based on. And honestly speaking, it's rather difficult, to fight the regime that reigned in our country for 30 years already. But we see our country as part of European Union, as part of democratic world. We want Belarus to become prosperous country where interpreters, where businesses, small businesses can work normally without any threats from the regime, where people can choose their leaders themselves. So just to be oriented on the best examples of democracy, like Greece, for example, the cradle of democracy. And honestly speaking, we need to learn how democracy works. So that's why, being in exile, I have launched alternative institutions of power, like proto-government and platform. We call it Coordination Council platform, where all the initiatives, NGOs, people can debate, can feel how it is democratically solve the problems we facing now. And of course we want our country to be out of the claws of Russian Empire. We see now how Russia is subjugating our country. We call it creeping occupation, but we want to be on the good side of the world in democracy.
You meet very regularly with world leaders like Biden, for example, Ursula von der Leyen. Do you feel enough support for Belarus cause?
Of course, I'm grateful to all the leaders, all the countries, nations who are supporting our fight for democracy, and actually many things happened unprecedentedly, towards Belarus. Like we launched strategic dialogue with the USA. We became part of Council of Europe. We have groups of friendship with democratic Belarus in almost all the parliaments of European Union and beyond. But of course, people who are experiencing pain every day, who are struggling with the world evil, we realize that we need more support and need more solidarity and we need more attention. Because attention span is rather short and so many things are happening in the world, and sometimes Belarusian issue is is not in focus. And of course, I would like to see democratic world to be more decisive regarding dictators, because I still see attempts to appease dictators or re-educate dictators. I see how some countries have the business-oriented policy but not values-based policy. So let's, for example, take sanctions as instruments that democratic world have. Regime of Lukashenko is under sanctions, many enterprises, but these sanctions have such a huge loopholes that regimes can easily circumvent the sanctions. So it means that non-efficient usage of tools you have, or, for example, international justice mechanisms or institutions. Lukashenko and his cronies have long list of crimes against humanity, crimes of torture, abduction of Ukrainian children, dragging our country into the war, hijacking airplane, and so on and so forth. And we are trying to bring Lukashenko to accountability already now, using international justice system, but it looks like it doesn't work also effectively because we have all the proofs, but we can't launch special investigation on these crimes. Why? And that's the question, of course, to democratic powerful wars. We need strong leadership. We need democratic leaders to show that they have decisiveness and will to really fight with dictators, not just the words of condemnation, but real actions.
You have said that Belarus plays a very important role in the regional crisis. It plays a pivotal role, you have said. Can you please describe what is, from your point of view, the role of Belarus in the invasion of Russia in Ukraine?
It's pity to admit that Lukashenko, against the will of Belarusian people, dragged our country into the war. He provided our territories to launch missiles. First missiles have been launched from the territory of Belarus. He gave our infrastructure for Russian military. So since the beginning of this war, Belarusian people showed that they're against the war. We went to the rallies where thousands of people have been detained. Our partisans disrupted railways to slow down Russian equipment going to Ukraine. We provided Ukraine our information about location of military. Also, our military volunteers went to Ukraine to fight shoulder to shoulder with Ukrainians. Many are dying. Our refugees, political refugees, are helping Ukrainian refugees because we know how it's painful to leave everything behind and leave your country, going nowhere. And but of course, I understand that while Lukashenko is puppet of Putin, he will provide all the Putin needs, our territory infrastructure in the future as well. And now we see, hear these speculations that Russia might, invade some European countries, but without Belarusian territory, it would be impossible. So Putin needs Lukashenko as very cheap and very loyal ally, partner, lapdog, but. That's why it's very important to get Belarus out of the war, because only independent, sovereign Belarus will be hugest sanctions towards Putin and will be greatest support to Ukraine's victory.
You have said that Moscow's interference in Belarus, cultural and identity genocide. Could you please explain what do you mean by that? And do you see any similarities with what was happening to Ukraine some years ago?
Actually, Belarusian nation and Ukrainian nations, we are facing one enemy. It's imperialistic ambitions of Russia. It looks like Putin and Lukashenko, actually, they want to drag our countries back into the past, in the Soviet Union past. We want to choose our future ourselves, but they treat us as naughty children. You're not allowed, you are ours, don't leave this family. But we are sovereign, independent countries, and people have to decide what they want. And what we see in Belarus now is total Russification. We see how Belarusian language is gradually being forbidden, as Belarusian institutions are being closed. So we see how they want to make Belarus appendix of Russia, and the same processes took place in Ukraine. We remember this, and actually. It had huge impact on Belarusian nation. We started ourselves, started to be more involved in our Belarusian culture. We started to promote it. And now Belarusian children especially children of our activists, especially dissidents, they are learning Belarusian language as their native language. But in Belarus, it's like it's learned as foreign language at the moment. So yeah, of course, we have to fight with this. To fight with this Russification. We are not part of Russia. We are a European nation, and we have to cherish everything. Like we have to strengthen our national identity. It's the best antidote to Russian world.
What do you think is the source of Lukashenko's staunch support to Putin? Where does it come from? Why does he support him so much?
Because they are both, these Soviet Union types. They understand what the language of force only. They like dictators. By their mentality, they don't respect people. They don't take care about nation, about country. They are, pretend they are like they own country. That's the country belongs to them. And this is like similar mentality, and now they have like symbiotic friendship. They need each other. Lukashenko needs Putin as political and economical backup, and Putin needs Lukashenko as as cheap and very loyal partner, and he can use our country, whenever he wants. He wanted to deploy nuclear weapon in Belarus. Lukashenko, welcome. We don't need Russian nuclear weapon in our country, because with nuclear weapon, Russia can anchor their presence for many, many years ahead. And now they are maybe the only allies, to each other, and and actually Putin treats Belarus like his playground. They test in forms of torturing people, forms of subjugating people in Belarus, and they can repeat it in Russia.
You're planning with your cabinet in Lithuania to issue passports for Belarusian citizens. This is something unprecedented. How are you going to do that? I mean, technically, which would be, for example, the issuing authority for these passports?
So I can't give you like details, technical details, because we still have a lot of challenges, and this project might change. But it's, as you said, it's unprecedented. But we have to deal with this, because many people, millions actually, who left Belarus, they might be very soon stateless because we can't renew our documents abroad, and the regime forbids all the embassies and consulates to renew documents of Belarusian people. They force them to return back. People will be detained immediately. So if you have expired passport, you can't change. You can't have a new one. So that's why we decided to issue our own passports. Very soon the first specimens will be produced, and it will be only political will of the democratic world if they will recognize these passports or not. But as I say, non-conventional times need non-conventional decisions. So I want to believe that democratic world, it's not only about words of support and solidarity, but about real, about real commitment. We propose you solution that will suit everybody. So please help us.
So the real goal and the real challenge is for the countries all over the world to recognize and accept this passport. I imagine that you're in contact with authorities all over the world. Are you getting a positive feedback?
Now this project is perceived as very interesting and difficult, but nobody denies possibility of recognizing. But of course, they have to see how it corresponds to national laws. So we have to work with every country, to recognize it. I hope that we will succeed.
Thank you very much for this discussion, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.